Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. I've got little Miss Dior with me today because she was sooking and she wanted to be in the video, so if you hear noises it's definitely because of her. Today I am doing a Q&A based on my weight loss injection journey. So GLP-1s, Ozempic, Mounjaro, Wegovy. What you crying for? I've had a lot of questions come through and really good questions about my journey. And so I thought, you know what, let's sit down and let's chat about it. So to give you some backstory, I have been taking a weight loss injection. Specifically, I've been taking Mounjaro for the last 9 months, okay? Because, and I need to preface this because I often get a lot of comments on my videos when I talk about Mounjaro from people saying, why are you on it? You don't need to be on it. Look at you. And it just blows my mind that people think that me now is starting Mounjaro, because I'll put up a picture of what I looked like the day that I started Mounjaro. It's not what I looked like now. I mean, it was 9 months ago. Do you want to hop down? Okay, there you go. It was 9 months ago when I started Mounjaro. And over that time, I mean, one of the questions that I got was, how many kilos did I lose? I have lost 12 kilos. Let me make sure that number is correct. Yes, 12 kilos in 9 months. Okay, 12 kilos in 9 months. That's how much weight that I've lost. Therefore, I definitely did not look like this. I looked very different. And one of the reasons why I started Mounjaro, let's talk about it. Let's get into it. Let's talk about why I started Mounjaro. Because a lot of people say, like, whenever I film a Mounjaro video, I get a lot of views, but I also get a lot of comments. And with the comments, there's negativity. And there's a bit of a theme with the comments. It's like, well, why don't you just diet and exercise? Like, why you want a weight loss injection? Diet and exercise will fix that, or a calorie deficit will fix that. And the reason why I started Mounjaro is that I have been exercising since 2013, almost every single day. Okay, almost every single day. So I've struggled with my weight for many, many, many years, like a really long time. And I first started getting into eating clean, eating healthy, and exercising almost daily since 2013. So I'm not a beginner to this. Like, I have been consistent for a very, very, very long time. And once upon a time, that worked for me. Like, I did, in fact, lose a lot of weight. I did, in fact, shred up and all of those things. However, what I have found is that the older that I have gotten, the more harder it has become for me to lose weight. And my body holds on to weight so much easier. And I feel like even if I was just to sniff, pardon me, I don't know why I'm losing my voice, but I feel like if I was just to sniff a piece of cake, like, I would gain that weight. And I don't know if anyone can relate to that, but I literally feel like me just looking at like a piece of fried chicken, it just feels like I'm gaining the weight. And so the older that I've gotten, the more trouble that I've had losing the weight. And I have still been working out every single day. Like, my current workout schedule, and this is kind of what it's always been, I do 2 strength training sessions a week, and then I also do 2 high intensity sessions, plus I do tennis and boxing. And then on top of that, every single day, I get between 7,000 to 9,000 steps every single day. So it really frustrates me when people assume that I'm not working out, or when people assume that, diet and exercise will fix it. It's like, I have been doing that for many, 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 many years. Yes, it used to work, and I've had incredible transformations before. But I swear, as soon as I hit it, I think it was like 31 years old, I have not been able to, lose any weight. And I feel like no matter what I do, I put the weight back on. And also too, it's like, why do we have to make things hard for ourselves? Why do we feel like we get some sort of badge of honor when things are hard? Why can't it be easy? That is one of the things that I love about this, weight loss medication, is that it makes it easier. I'm still showing up. I'm still working out 5 to 6 times a week. I'm still eating very healthy. I'm still, you know, tracking my macros and making sure that I'm getting the correct macronutrients in. And I'll get into that in a minute because I do have a question about that. But I'm still doing all of those things. And this medication has really helped keep my weight at bay. And it's obviously, I've lost 12 kilos. So please don't comment those things. It's just really frustrating. And that's why I started Mounjaro. I started Mounjaro specifically because I just got to that point and I literally, you can go back and watch. I did a video, my very first video on Mounjaro, talking about all of this in more depth. And, you know, I was talking about it in real time, so it's very raw. But I literally went to my doctor and I sat in the doctor's office and I was literally crying to my doctor and I was like, nothing's working and I'm getting sick of it. I'm miserable. I hate when I look in the mirror, and I know that sounds like a lot, but like I genuinely was not loving the version of me that was looking back at me. I'm miserable. I know I'm overweight because I can feel it. Like I feel the extra weight. I feel heavy. I feel tired. I feel exhausted. And yet I'm doing all of the things. Like I'm doing all of the things and it's not working, and I'm exhausted and I'm sick of thinking about food, and I'm sick of thinking about how many steps am I getting in and how's my calories today, and if I eat that extra slice of pizza, how many, you know, sit-ups do I have to do? Like that's genuinely how I was thinking. I'm sick of it. You know, I'm tired and I want it to be easy. Why can't it be easy for me? It was easy once and it's not. And that's when my doctor and I come up with this beautiful plan. And here we are 9 months down the track, 12 kilos lost, which I think roughly is like 24-ish pounds. Don't quote me on that. I'm Australian, so we talk about kilos in our metrics. But yes. Okay, so here we go. Let's get into the questions. How long have you been on it? 9 months. Does it make you feel unwell? No. This was, okay, so it took me 6 months to actually get on a weight loss medication. And the reason being is that I was so afraid that I would be unwell. So afraid, because I kept hearing negative side effects. I kept hearing people talk about how horribly sick they were whilst they were on the weight loss medication. And so when I went to my doctor, I said to her, you know, and it was 6 months in the making. Like I had gotten my blood work done 6 months before, and I was almost going to do it, but then didn't do it, and so it took me 6 months. So when I went to my doctor, I said one of the biggest things that I'm afraid of is being unwell. Like I don't want to get sick. I don't want to be nauseated all the time. Like I want to be able to still wake up in the morning and go to the gym. I want to be able to get up and be an active mum because I'm a mum. And so I want to do these things still. I don't want, you know, this drug to affect me. And so my doctor said, okay, there's 2 available weight loss medications that we can get you today. Ozempic wasn't really available at the time in Australia. I don't know if that's changed, but it wasn't something that you could kind of get it always ran out of stock. And there was Wegovy and Mounjaro. Now my doctor said Wegovy has only 1 active ingredient in it. Again, please don't quote me on this. It was a long time ago that we had this conversation. And Wegovy has reported a lot more side effects. A lot more people feel unwell on Wegovy, but it is a more affordable option. It is a lot cheaper. Whereas Mounjaro has 2 active ingredients, therefore it works quite quickly. You get less side effects and it is a lot more expensive. And I said to my doctor, like, to me, I've invested so much in my health, like so much. Like I'm paying for a really top tier gym membership. Like I've had before dietitians, nutritionists, like the cost is no big deal because it's my health. And so I'm happy to pay the more high ticket medication, knowing that it's going to work quicker and then knowing that I'm not going to be unwell. So I have not had any nausea. The only time where I had a tiny bit of nausea was when I increased my dosage. So when I went from, so you start on the 2.5 milligram dosage and then you go to 5 milligrams and then 7.5. And I have been on the 7.5 milligram dosage now for over 3 months, and I'm about to increase to 10 milligrams because I have been in a plateau for 3 months. My weight has not moved. It's kind of gone up and down a kilo, but it's stabilized, and I feel like my body is quite comfortable now. It's very comfortable on this medication, and I really want to push a little bit more because I know that I have a bit more weight to lose. I'm just carrying a lot of kind of extra weight, and again, I can feel it. Like, if this relates, but like, I feel like as women, we know when we're carrying extra weight. So I feel like my body is carrying extra weight and it just won't budge. So I'm about to increase now to 10 milligrams in dosage. But when I went from 5 milligrams to 7.5 milligrams, there was a little bit of nausea there. That's when I felt it. That's when I was like, oh, but in saying that, it wasn't like I didn't stop eating. I wasn't running to the toilet. It was just like, I just feel a bit queasy, and I think I just didn't work out for that day. For me, I inject on a Sunday, and then that way I have like a full 24 plus hours before, you know, I need to do life. Like, Sundays for me, they're chill. The only thing that I do is play tennis in the morning. I come home, I eat breakfast, and then I inject after that, and then I'm chilling, I'm tanning, I'm reading a book, you know, I'm just doing some washing. Like, it's nothing crazy. And when Monday comes, when I'm in mum mode, business mode, gym mode, I'm feeling really good. So I think it's really important that you pick a specific day to inject where you've got a full 24 hours where you don't have a lot of social responsibilities, or you're not trying to push yourself to do a workout, because again, you may just feel a little bit queasy. Okay. Okay, someone said, how many kilos did you lose? 12 kilos. Was it hard getting a script? Do they check BMI? And then someone else commented, were you above the BMI, as I tried to get it, but my BMI is only 25. Surely you weren't BMI 27. So yes, I was above the BMI. And this shocks people, and I mean, I get it. Like, we carry weight differently, like in our body types. So people are shocked that, you know, I was considered overweight, and I was literally, when I started it, so I was 76 kilos and I was 169 centimeters. And I had to calculate it before because I was like, I have no idea. And let me bring up the calculator to tell you what my BMI was. 76. So I was considered overweight, and my BMI was 26.6. So that's literally, when I went to my doctor, I explained to my doctor that not only was it really, really hard for me to lose weight, but I also had a lot of food noise, which I thought was normal, okay, until someone said to me, this is not normal. Food noise is when you go about your day and all you're thinking about is food. You're thinking about when you're going to eat next, what you're going to eat next. It would be, say, a Monday, so the start of the week, and I'm thinking about the weekend to come. So 5 days time, I'm thinking about, what am I going to eat on the weekend? Where are we going out? Is there food readily available for me? What type of food is going to be there? Should I eat before I go? So as you can imagine, this is just going in my head all day, every day. Food, 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 food. It's internally exhausting, mentally exhausting, but I honestly thought that was normal. And then at the end of the day, when I'm laying in bed at night, I would do like a bit of a check. I'd go, okay, I ate this and this and this and this. What was bad out of that I ate? What would make me gain weight? Did I eat too much? Roughly how many calories is that? Now, if you're in the health and fitness industry, and if that's your profession, or if you are, you know, walking on stage in a physique competition, that's great for you. You probably do need to have that mindset. But for me, as a businesswoman and a mum that just prioritizes her health and fitness and wellness, like, I don't need to be thinking about that all the time. I don't need to be laying in bed, not letting myself fall asleep until I figure out whether I've eaten the right things for the day. So I explained that to my doctor, and my doctor said that must be exhausting because that is not normal. And this medication will actually stop the food noise. So this medication has been incredible. I know one of the questions that I got is, what are the side effects? The side effects is I don't think about food. I don't think about food. I could literally skip a meal and my body would not have a freak out. Like before, if I was to skip a meal, my body would feel sick. I would feel nauseated. I would get like hangry. I'd be really emotional. Pardon me. Now I don't skip meal. Like now I don't get that if I was to skip a meal. Now in saying that, I don't skip meals because I know that if you don't prioritize food and if you don't prioritize a high protein diet, you can become unwell. Okay. That's something that my doctor said to me. She's like, you need to prioritize protein, high protein diet. Otherwise one of the side effects is becoming unwell. So for me, I'm making sure that I'm eating at least 30 grams of protein per meal. That is really important. Okay. And because I don't think of food, I have times throughout the day where I'm eating. So I will literally eat in the morning at about 9 a.m. once I drop my daughter off to school. Then about 12 p.m. I'll have a little snack at about 3 p.m. and then at night I eat at 6 p.m. So for me, because I'm not obsessing over food, I just have my times. I'm like, oh, it's 12 p.m. I should probably start getting my lunch ready. Does that make sense? So that's what it's like. Side effects, again, tiny bit of nausea. That's it. Side effects include feeling super confident. I feel sexy. I feel magnetic. I feel light. My clothes fit so much better. Like I feel great. My skin, okay, that's one side effect I wasn't expecting. My skin completely cleared up. I suffer from adult acne, have for years and years and years. This is me, no makeup, just skincare on, and she is absolutely clear. I feel so confident now that I literally show up online and through my content and I don't put on makeup, and that is unheard of for me. I'm someone that would always put on a full face of makeup. If you go back and watch my previous videos of me talking about Mounjaro in the early stages, full face of makeup, full beat, like the whole thing. Whereas now I literally don't. Like I just skincare, that's it. That's how like confident I feel now whilst being on this medication. Like I feel really confident in my skin. I feel confident as the woman that I am on this. So that's a side effect. Another question that I got asked was hair thinning. Yes. Okay, that is one side effect that I started to experience after I had been on the medication for about 6 months. I noticed that my hair started to thin. So much so, you know, I was on this hair health journey where I was trying to grow out my hair and I stopped bleaching it. You know, if you watch my previous videos, I used to have blonde hair. I stopped bleaching it, dyed my hair a dark brown, which is my natural color, and I love it. Should have done it sooner. Side note. But yeah, so my hair started to thin out, and that's when I decided just to get some extensions in. So I wear a weft 2 rows, I think it's 100 grams of extensions in my hair because the thinning was starting to happen, and now I don't notice it. Like, I mean, I have the extensions and I still take really good care of my hair, I should say. Like, it's still a huge priority of me. We only put heat on it like once a week, and I use the best hair care products. I also take a hair multivitamin. I take collagen supplements. So I'm still doing the most, even, you know, with extensions in. So yes. Okay, what's the next question? Was it hard to get a script? No. It was actually very easy, and you know, I kind of put it off for a long time because I thought, what if the doctor says no to me? But no, it wasn't. Once I went into my doctor and explained that I was very much living a healthy, active lifestyle, I wasn't someone that was just, you know, wanting to abuse a medication. Like, I was wanting to use it as a tool in my tool belt on top of everything else that I was doing. And then I explained the food noise and how I was really struggling with that. Broke down in tears because it's just been the greatest frustration, to be honest. You know, doing all the things and not losing weight. When we looked at my age and when we looked at obviously my BMI, my doctor said I'm absolutely a good candidate for it. My bloods, we did them 6 months prior, so we could see that everything was fine with my bloods. This medication wasn't going to affect me. Once we looked at all of that, it was easy. My doctor gave me a script. I was on the 2.5 milligrams at first, and then we just kept moving up. We went to 5 milligrams. I went to 7.5 milligrams. Like I said, been sitting on that for a few months, and I'm about to go to 10 milligrams What I will say though is the pens that they give you to inject, it will only let you inject 4 times, but there is enough in the pen for 5 injections. So every pen comes preloaded and it's 4 weeks of injections, but there is technically 5 weeks in the pen. They load them up with extra just in case, as a just in case. So if you go on YouTube and if you look at if you search the golden dose, weight loss injection golden dose, pen, Mounjaro golden dose, Ozempic golden dose, you'll see a ton of videos come up showing you and teaching you how to get out the golden dose. And the golden dose is the 5th dose. I had no idea about the 5th dose until I went to the chemist one day to get my refill. And it was actually the pharmacist who said to me, hey, I'm going to give you a syringe because there's a lot of, have you noticed there's liquid left in your pen? And I was like, yeah, but I can't get it out. It won't let you twist, it locks out. And the pharmacist said, what you need to do is get a syringe, put it in the pen, and then draw out the leftover amount, and then you can inject it into yourself. So now I get an insulin needle. And when my pen locks out at the 4 weeks, once I finish that, then on the 5th week, we will draw out the rest and then insert it. So that's what we do. But look at the videos. I had no idea that there was, like, I threw out, I think, my 1st and 2nd pen. And it wasn't until I was, like, going for my 3rd pen where the pharmacist was like, hey, you can actually, like, take out another dose. And I was like, what? Because someone did ask me, how much does it cost a month? And again, I'll only speak on Mounjaro because that's what I'm on. I don't know about Wegovy. I know it is a lot more affordable. But when it comes to Mounjaro, it is the 2.5 milligrams starting off, your prep dose, it was only $250. Then the 5 milligram from memory, I think was $460. The 7.5 milligram that I'm on, I currently pay $560. Now, what I will say is every pharmacy charges a different amount. So shop around when you're looking to get your script filled and just ask how much they're charging to try and get the most affordable option. I think I've only got one more question left. How many daily calories do I take? So for me, something that I do, and this is a little bit of a hack, I use ChatGPT to give me a full meal plan for my calories for the week. And we also factor in my cycle as well, so my period. We essentially factor in each week where I am in my cycle, and it gives me a meal plan. So this has been really cool for me. So on average, I have between 1,450 calories to 1,700 calories. It really depends on where I'm at in my cycle. It depends how heavy my training is. But minimum is 100 grams of protein every day. That's an absolute minimum. Another minimum is 30 grams of fiber. So I think this is really important to talk about fiber. I did not understand how important fiber was when it comes to being on a weight loss medication. And the reason being is because the weight loss medication delays your bowel movements so that you stay fuller for longer. Therefore, you're not going to the bathroom as frequently, and it is really easy to get backed up. Yeah. TMI, I know, but it's really easy to get backed up, to get constipated. So therefore, fiber, having a lot of fiber in your diet is going to allow you to continue to go to the toilet, to continue to have incredible bowel movements. Something else that I invested in is a lymphatic drainage. I have it right next to me on the floor. A lymphatic drainage vibration plate. So that's the machines that you stand on for 10 minutes a day in the morning, 10 minutes a day at night. That has helped me immensely, not only with lymphatic drainage and reducing my puffiness, bloating, swelling, all the things, it does that, but it also really helps me with my bowel movements. Whenever I feel like I haven't gone to the toilet enough throughout the day, I will stand on my machine, and before I'm even done with the machine, literally within say 6 minutes, I'm like going to the toilet. So I can link my machine that I brought in the notes. I've had it now for 9 months. Tried, tested. A ton of people have brought the exact same machine and love it, so I know that it works. But that really helps me. But fiber, minimum 30 grams, that's really, really important. Those are the two key macros that I track. And obviously calories, aiming for 30 grams of protein per meal. And eating the protein first. So with these medications, you get full quite quickly. You get very satiated. So a lot of the time I'm actually not even finishing my meals. So I'm probably getting less than that because I'm not actually finishing my meals. So it's really important that the first thing that I eat in a meal is protein, because if I, get satiated really quickly, well, then it's not too bad if I'm leaving the carbs behind. And that's something that I never used to do. I always used to eat my vegetables first because I don't like vegetables, and I would leave the protein last as like my reward. Eat your veggies and then you can have the meat. Now it's like protein first, get that in, because then if I don't finish my food, I'm only leaving behind the carbs and a few vegetables, which isn't too bad. So really important. But like I said, I use ChatGPT. So yeah. So someone else did ask me another question. Hang on. I've answered that. We're talking about side effects, hair thinning, how much it costs, how many calories, is it hard to get a script? And then I had another question. Okay, this is the last question. What happens with maintenance? Well, what happens with maintenance is we maintain the results. That's what happens with any maintenance. And I have another thing that kind of irks me is a lot of people say, oh, you're going to put all the weight back on. You've lost all this weight and you're going to put it back on as soon as you stop the medication. Now, I probably will put on a little bit of weight. Like, that's, I think, a given, and I think that's normal. But for me, I'm sometimes having 1,700 calories. That is not very low compared to, say, someone on a 1,400 calorie deficit. And I know there's people out there that are having these injections and they're on 1,000 calories a day. Don't even talk to me about that. Don't want to get into that. But for me, I'm having upwards of up to 1,700 calories a day. That is like a healthy, balanced diet, in my opinion. I'm not a health professional, but in my opinion, that's like a healthy, balanced diet. And I'm still been training. Like I said, I'm doing my 2 high intensity workouts a week, 2 strength training sessions, boxing and tennis. So I am moving my body. I'm working out. I'm getting up to 9,000 steps in a day, and I'm on, I'm tracking my calories. So for me, I'm going to maintain the results because I'm doing all the things that I should be doing. Now, I know, and there's been people that have messaged me before sharing that they stopped the medication and they put all the weight back on, and these people were not doing the correct things to maintain the weight loss. They weren't working out, they weren't eating healthy. They weren't monitoring what they were eating. So it didn't surprise me. I was like, of course you put the weight back on. And then they end up just getting back on the drug, and it becomes this cycle. For me, this is such a huge investment. Like, investment of money to be on this medication, investment in time. Like, it's like I'm investing so much into this. So of course I'm going to do my bit. Of course I'm going to show up. Of course I'm going to live a healthy, active lifestyle. Of course I'm going to monitor what I eat. Of course I'm going to track my macros. Of course. So that when the day comes when I'm happy and I've stabilized my weight, technically I could come off the medication now if I wanted to, because my weight has been stabilized for the last 3 months. Like, we have not moved. Therefore, it tells me my body's really comfortable and happy at this weight. But like I said, there's a few more kilos that I want to lose. So when I get to that next level where I've lost those kilos and I've maintained that weight for at least 3 months, then I will hop off the medication. You don't hop off the medication straight away either. You have a plan with your doctor where you ease off of it. So you go back down. So I would go from 10 milligrams, I would go to 7.5, I would go to 5, I'd go to 2.5, and then sometimes you microdose you 2.5. So you will do an injection once every fortnight for a while, and then you take yourself back off of it. You just don't go cold turkey. Oh, I don't even want to know what that would do to your body. But there's a whole big process. Therefore, I will be on this medication for many months to come, because it's not just like, oh, I'm done, I'm here, let's go. It's a process to get off of it. So it's going to be a bit more, while I'm going to be here for a little bit longer, essentially. But yeah, I will look at coming off the medication once I'm stabilized, once I've gotten to my weight that I want to get at for a few months. I'm comfortable, happy, doing my thing, feeling great. Then I will eventually get off it. I hope this has really helped you guys. If you have any questions, please let me know. You can reach out to me on Instagram. My handle is Rebecca Jade _. You know, I'm on TikTok, YouTube, all the things. So, you know, send me a message if you have any questions. But I do have a whole Mounjaro playlist on my YouTube channel, which is like videos from the very beginning. You can go watch my first video of me starting my prep dose back 9 months ago, and I've done multiple Q&As. I've even done like what I eat in a day, stuff like that, just to really help you, give you ideas. And if you're someone that is contemplating it, speak to your doctor, get the right advice, see if it's for you. It's a very scary big step. It was for me. It was really scary putting something in my body because I'm such a healthy person. Like, I won't even take Panadol when I have a toothache or a headache. Like, it's just not my nature. So actually being on a medication for a period of time felt very, very scary and very big and very unknown. But I truly have had the most incredible experience, and I could not recommend it enough. So I hope this video has helped you, and I love you and I appreciate you, and thank you for listening. Thank you for watching.